Guys have struggled at Mackey Arena. First half, where Woody Austin hits the jumper. Purdue leads by 1 at the break. Second half, though, was all Ohio State. Jackson the steal, all the way for the layup. A pretty move. 2 of his 15. Mark Baker, the guard, at 17. Off the J. Score it with 1. Buckeyes. He led them with 17.6 boards. Lawrence Funderburk, pick and roll to perfection with the dunk. Funderburk at 13. Gene Katie. Grant Hill out with a sprained ankle, but Bobby Hurley got the medical clearance, returned to the lineup. The crowd was in a frenzy. And in the second half, with Hurley running the team, looked like he didn't miss a beat. The perfect pass to Brian Davis. Duke led by 6. Hurley played well. A milestone evening for Brian Stitt, the Virginia guard, moved past Jeff Lamp, number 1 on the Virginia scoring list. They would stay close, but the number of the night was 32. Christian Laettner, number retired before the game, brilliant in the game. Laettner will pull up and nail the long jumper. He matched his retired jersey. 32 points, 13 boards. Duke opened up a 12-point lead, and a hug from Coach K when all was said and done as Duke beat Virginia. Oklahoma State got Byron Houston back in the lineup, coming back from injury, and said, "Get out of here, I'm back." Don't you know that? They didn't realize it early, so Nebraska kept taking it inside, and Houston said, "I'm back, get it out of here." He became Oklahoma State's all-time block leader. A scary moment. Jamar Johnson's in red, Darwin Alexander in white. Nebraska in red was down 25. A little frustrated, some pushing and shoving, and Alexander starts exchanging some punches. Both players were ejected. They're suspended automatically for their next game. It was Houston's night. Gets it inside, right-hand jam, 17 points, 8 boards, 3 blocks. Oklahoma State bounces back from the Peeler back from the 1-game suspension. Second half, Peeler, beautiful pass to Lamont Frazier for 2. Missouri in yellow up 1. Nip and tuck, 40-54 all. Cyclones, Ron Bayless knocks down 3. And the Cyclones at home, up 3. Other end come right back. Peeler draws the man, makes another great pass to Jeff Warren, a star in the classroom who was a star on the court. The junior hit 10 of 11 shots. Then the free throws. Peeler hit every one he took, off the refs on his side. But the Zebras can't miss this call. Look at Joey Brown. That's the shoestring tackle on Brian Caver. Seton Hall up 10 thanks to Terry DeHare, who gets the drive and the foul. He led everybody in the building with 30 points. This game went OT, and Arturas Karnisovas had a chance to clinch it for the Hall from the line, but he came up short. With the Hoyas pulling down the rebound, down 3, Irvin Church going to set up in the corner and tie the game at 71. With 5.5 seconds to go, the set play. John Thompson said, "I didn't want to foul, but nobody stopped the ball." Brian Caver coast to coast, and it's a win in Jersey, beating the buzzer. Seton Hall wins by 2. That was Caver's only field goal of the night. Go crazy, you betcha. It snaps George trying to get to 500. The Fab Five are going to the big dance, and Chris Webber is going to be right in the middle of the dance floor. The Badgers running on emotion and some flair. Michael Finley using the window on the way to the hardwood. Wisconsin by 6 at the break. More of this Badger outstanding freshman Finley. Off the steal, the kick out to Finley. Looks like he's got an easy 2, but he leaves it for Carlton McGee. That's a very nice pass. Wisconsin, double-digit lead. The fans are excited, and the only way to stop him, knock him down. Juwan Howard knocks him down there. But Finley shows his resilience. He knocks down the 3 at 30 points. A reason for Steve Yoder to smile. Nice win. Good job by his kids. Yoder said, "Win a few more games."
Glad Palace. Bulldogs a tough time stopping Robert Horry, who moves inside, throws up the hook. He hit 8 of 14 shots from the floor. A little sloppy here. Chuck Evans strips the ball from Jason Caffey and lays it in for the Bulldogs. But Horry, who had a game-high 24, hits the outside jumper, and Alabama pulls away to win it 79-69. They send Roosevelt Wallace going to the boards with a rebound, throws it for Lee Mayberry at the other end. Arkansas 43-32 at the break. Tommy Joe Eagles concerned, but his team rallied. Second half, Ronnie Battle with a leaner, and Auburn gets to within 4. Nolan Richardson say, "Hey, what about that 40 minutes of hell stuff?" Chris Brandt at the line. Aaron Swinson grabs it. Nice putback. Arkansas blew a 15-point lead. Auburn actually led, and then Todd Day with a hoop and some harm. He had 21. That tied the game at 68. And then watch here, they leave him alone. No defense, so he's going to hit the open jumper. And a slice of heaven for the Hogs. 82-74. They could turn up the heat. Richie Farmer with a 3-ball that goes, and then the full court press. Farmer doing it with defense. Knocking it loose. Getting it to John Pelfrey, who hits. Kentucky wins easily. 12 3-pointers. Celebs who have seen better years. Rob Logderman had a a good night with three-pointers. This one from NBA range hit 5 of 8 three-pointers. Marquette had the lead at the break by 3, but defense for the Bearcats. Anthony Buford finishes that with 2 of his 20. That tied the game at 48. Kevin O'Neal aggravated. Bearcats ahead 2. Nick Van Exel from the baseline for 3, and Bob Huggins had to watch from the TV booth.
The standings, you'll see very clearly that USC was a game behind UCLA in the battle for King of the Block in LA. So to the sports arena, in transition, Tracy Murray, he had 28. He started hot, in UCLA had the early lead. George Raveling wouldn't need to worry too much. He had Harold Miner, the guy Dick Vitale called the best thing to happen at USC since football. He just took over, doing everything. Outside, inside, the two-hand reverse dunk. Gerald Matkins slowed down the guy who used to be known as Baby Jordan. Well, not quite. He was like Mike on this night. The fadeaway 3 that goes, Miner hitting from every angle. Jim Harrod more upset than impressed. More Miner against Matkins. He takes him to the hole, and the reverse. Then the move of the evening. Top of the key. Why don't you just watch this? That is a great move. Plain and simple. Bringing everybody out of their seat. A long night for the Bruin defense. Matkins and company, and George Raveling has reason to celebrate, even though he doesn't want to celebrate with that fan. Oregon, wounded Ducks. They had 4 starters out because of injury, and it got ugly. Khalid Reeves with the steal in for the layup. Oregon down 34. Don Munson says, let's get out of here quickly before it gets ugly. Antoine Stoudemire, the great pass to Jeff Potter. Backdoor on the cut for the layup. But smarts get Oregon only so far. Totally outmatched. Sean Rooks to Antoine's cousin, Damon Stoudemire for the dunk and foul by Rooks. Arizona season. Fans thinking sweep. Seminoles off to a good start. Sam Cassell, the steal, the dish. Rodney Dobar, the two-hand jam. FSU by 8. Dean Smith Tone Club gets the ball to Hubert Davis, who has been just on fire. He had 6 threes, 23 in the first 20 minutes, and NC was up 1. So it's time for some coaching strategy. And Pat Kennedy says, let's start to up-tempo and run the ball, and the Seminoles would run. Bob Sewell, the freshman, between the legs to Douglas Edwards. That's making news. Edwards at 23, then it's Sura by himself. Some say he's even better than Travis Best as ACC Freshman of the Year. What a move. 14 off the pine. Sura kept it going. Behind the back, the pass to Dobard for the short jumper. Florida State just poured it on. Dobard, another slam off the break. He had 17. Dean Smith can wave goodbye to second place in the ACC. Florida State
lost their earlier meeting, and Tulane fans maybe a little too zealous. First half, all Louisville. Cardinals shot 64%. Dwayne Morton with a good percentage shot. They were up 12. Second half, David Whitmore leaves Everett Sullivan all alone for the open jumper, and he takes advantage. Green Wave trying to respond. Pointer Williams, nice dish to Anthony Reed with a Green Wave slam, but the Cardinals brought back memories of the old doctors of dunk. Sullivan feeding Morton for another jam. Louisville wins 87-72, and Perry Clark upset with that. And this son of Rick, not on the fringe. Throwing up a 3-ball side pocket, that goes. And then Berry driving, watch this, a 2-ball off the cushion, and that goes. And Berry with another 3. He was running the table and playing a little D, stripping the ball from Anthony Tucker and going from one end to the other. That tied the game. We were at 36 at the break. Berry, another 3-ball corner pocket. Had 5 3-pointers in the game. Also, a nice pass here to Brian Hill, who gets the slam. Berry finished with 23 points and 6 assists as Georgia
on their home court, but they're down by a bucket late. Senior Sean Jackson, though, from three-point land, hits it, giving Princeton a 46-45 lead. But Yale's next trip down court, check out the tough fadeaway by Rob Conley. Just 13-6 left on the clock. 47-46 Eli. Jackson, can he do it again? No. Misses. Casey Kamen eventually controls the loose ball. Time runs out for Princeton, and Yale denies Princeton at least temporarily. 47-46. Southern, which plays in Baton Rouge, in the road yellow because they were seated lower than Texas Southern. Texas Southern here trying to go long range. Tyrone Stillman hits the 3, and Tigers' Robert Moreland watching. Can his team pull off the victory? But the Jaguars were quick. They had a big lead in this one, squandered it, but came back, and they win in overtime.
In the second half, Sean Respert to Dwayne Stevens. He is loose for the slam. OSU still leading by 4. Jimmy Jackson with a nice dish to Jamal Brown. OSU takes an 8-point lead. Gent with a little defense, taking it from one end to the other. He had 19. Buckeyes had a 10-point lead and more good defense. Jimmy Jackson with a swipe gets a hoop and some harm. He had 20, and Judd Heathcote didn't even want to look. Buckeyes scored
54 Cincinnati. Corey Blunt, the block. Herbert Jones ahead to Terrence Gibson for the layup. Cincinnati by 3. Bearcats by 1. Stanley Jackson the ball, but a bad pass picked off by Blunt ahead to Anthony Buford. And he'll a nice bounce pass to Eric Martin for the slam. Cincinnati goes on to win it 63-58. Gene Bart.
In the first half, 10 rebounds, but Oregon State, they were looking out for him with a little poke of the eye. Still in the first half, Brent Berry with a hoop and some harm. He had 18. The Beavers down by 4 at the break. Scott Haskin rejecting Chris Mills in the second half. Arizona gets inside. Sean Rooks off the cushion had 15. The Wildcats up 3. And then a wild play. Stokes loses the handle. Chris Mills taps it back inside to Stokes, who had 10. Wildcats off and running. Not even a visit from Ralph Miller could help Oregon State as Arizona's record now Southern. Darius Mims lets it fly just inside half court, and Terry Mims tipped it in for Southern. They were still trailing by 7 at the half. Alfonso Ford, the story for Valley State. Down the lane, he had 29 points, 21 in the second half. Coach Lafayette Stribling, his team controlling the pace of the Tigers, and Mississippi Valley State wins it. So the Delta Devils logged off and running. Todd Day loose for the alley-oop. Arkansas leading by 8 at halftime. Roosevelt Wallace tough on the boards here. Goes back and gets it, puts it up. He had 16 points, and Richard Williams goes to the drawing board. He did have Tony Watts, who had a big game. There a swipe for Mississippi State. And on the other end, he doesn't make the shot, but Greg Anderson follows, and the Bulldogs get to within 3 points of Arkansas. They were doing the Bulldog Boogaloo down in Starkville. The Hogs too much, though. Warren Lynn comes out of there with it, feeds to Todd Day, and he's loose for the bunny. Dunny, he had 27, did Day, as the Hogs win in a handshake. Rouge, and you don't see this very often. Shaquille O'Neal is blocked by Robert Horry. Shaq, a different strategy this time, dishing to Maurice Williamson for the lay-in. And then the O'Neal we're used to, rejecting Andre Perry. 5 block shots for Shaquille O'Neal. For the Tigers, T.J. Pugh throws up a 3-ball. He only took 2 shots in the game. Both were 3-pointers, and both helped LSU go on a 10-0 run. In the second half, O'Neal, the big man on the Bayou, powers inside, 28 points, 18 rebounds for 10-point first half lead. But watch this 3-pointer from Brian Henson. That's NBA range. K-State led at the half. Second half, Wiley Howard behind the back for Vincent Jackson. He had 18. K-State by 6. Just over a minute to go. His team is down 2. Anthony Peeler going baseline. That tied it at 69. Peeler scored 23. Last 10 seconds. Wildcats by 2. Peeler in the lane, and not good. Kansas State hauls in the rebound and pulls off.
Could it be Louis wearing the green sweater at South Bend? Malik Sealy for the Jam. He had 21 points. Notre Dame would come back in this one. Elmer Bennett to LaFonso Ellis, the alley-oop. Ellis had a game-high 30. Second half, Irish by 5. That's Sealy missing the jam. Damon Sweet with the loose ball takes it down court. Sweet with some sweet moves in the paint. Ellis tips it in. Notre Dame wins at 70.